Hi everyone, you're watching the virtual Amicus, and I'm Jay Lodha. Well, legal notice. These two terms obviously are not alien to us because most of us have encountered or dealt with these terms at some point in our lives. We as lawyers draft legal notices on a regular basis, and I'm sure even you must have come across a legal notice, sometimes as a recipient, and sometimes you might be the sender as well. But it is very important to understand one thing that one, if you're the recipient, you need to respond back to these legal notices. Now, most of us have this tendency, especially our clients, that they ignore it, they choose to throw it in the bin, they don't choose to, they refuse to respond to it at all. So take legal assistance, consult your lawyer, and respond. It is very important because it can otherwise have glaring consequences. So joining us today to elaborate further is another dynamic lawyer. He's a star lawyer who's known for his lucid arguments before courts. We have with us Mr. Sarthak Rastogi. Just to give you a brief background about Mr. Rastogi, he studied law from NLIU Bhopal, which is the National Law Institute University at Bhopal. He has been regularly practicing ever since before Rajasthan High Court at Jaipur and across various tribunals and authorities. He's majorly dealing with constitutional matters, like writ petitions under Article 226 of the Constitution of India. He has successfully contested various public interest litigations before courts seeking justice and for the benefit of village communities, as well as matter relating to various environmental issues. Also, he's dealt with a number of miscellaneous nature matters, service law matters, consumer law matters, etc. And he strongly believes in alternate dispute resolution mechanisms. He actively has participated and continues to participate in many arbitrations and mediations. He also frequently invited to judge academic competitions and has also been invited as guest speakers for many educational institutions. Apart from the profession laws that he shares, he's an avid traveler, he's an amateur photography enthusiast. He loves to explore places, he likes to meet people of diverse cultural backgrounds. So this was Mr. Rastogi. Thank you so much for joining us and taking out time on a Friday afternoon. The stage is set. The floor is all yours. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you firstly for giving me this opportunity and inviting me over for this session on legal notice, drafting and its importance. So, and first of all, I would like to congratulate you on this new endeavor of yours that you've started. And it's a really good thing to have where lawyers and even non-lawyers can actually learn few aspects of legal issues on legal issues and legal practice. So I'd like to congratulate you on that. So today now I'll be speaking on what is a legal notice, what is its importance in the legal system, and how to draft a legal notice. What are the basics of a legal notice drafting? So to begin with, I would begin with some words by Professor Balraj Chauhan, who is an eminent jurist and who is at present the Vice Chancellor at DNLU Jabalpur. So recently I got to interact with him. So he said legal notice drafting is not only an art and it is not only a science, it is a combination of art and science. Now, why is it so? Because while drafting a legal notice, you need to stick to the facts. So you need to be very subjective. You cannot add or subtract any facts from the matter. And why is it an art? Because you need to be very precise and to the point, and you need to highlight your key points and the star points in the matter, which you need to get the addressee to start talking on. So basically, what is a legal notice? The definition of legal notice is that it is, if in a layman language I can say, it is an intimation to the addressee to do or not to do or to undo any action or inaction which may lead to any legal consequences and filing of a litigation. So there is no fixed format for as such for drafting a legal notice, because it can be in format of a plain letter, or it can even be in format of a petition. So we can say there's no fixed format. There's also a very important point that many a time we think that legal notices are to be sent by advocates only. As Jay also said, however, there is no legal foundation that a legal notice has to be sent only through a counsel. Any party in person can also send a legal notice, but it is advisable, as Jay already said, it is advisable to take advice from a legal counsel, a legal practitioner, because there may be many issues which a common man may not understand while drafting a legal notice, and an advocate may better understand and highlight those points. So now, what is a legal notice in a legal system? Legal notice comes in play as a mode of ADR, alternate dispute resolution, because if there is a dispute between two parties, A and B, for example, for recovery of money, so A may send a legal notice to B and say that this money from you is due, and if you do not pay, I will go ahead and file a case in a court of law, or maybe a criminal complaint. So it acts as a method of ADR, where before approaching the court, a party gives an opportunity to any person to do or undo whatever he is obliged to do or undo. Now, the mode of sending a legal notice is also very essential. A legal notice cannot be casually sent and cannot be dropped at any addressee's address. It has to be sent through a registered post, AD, which is the most preferred method, or maybe through speed post, or maybe through email, the official email which is regularly visited, because these are the methods accepted by the courts wherever there is a statutory necessity. I'll come to that later. So the notices, legal notices are of two types. One is a statutory legal notice and the other is a non-statutory. Now, what are statutory legal notices? For example, if a person has to initiate a prosecution for check bounce under section 138 of the negotiable instrument, this is the most basic case situation that arises with many of us. So if you have to initiate a proceeding under section 138 of the Negotiable Instruments Act, you have to compulsorily, mandatorily send a legal notice within 30 days of the dishonor of the check to the person who has issued the check. And in absence of such legal notice, even the Supreme Court has recently in a case held that if the legal notice so statutorily mandated has not been submitted, then the proceedings will be vitiated and you cannot initiate any proceedings before a court of law under section 138. Similarly, under section 80 of the CPC, section 80 of the Code of Civil Procedure mandates that if a person has to initiate a suit against a government employee or against any government authority or the government of any state or the central government, then it has to mandatorily submit a legal notice before initiating any such suit. And similar is the case for filing writ petitions under Article 226 before the High Courts, because without a legal notice, the proceedings cannot be initiated. It can be by way of a simple communication by the client himself or an advocate's legal notice, as I said earlier. Also, in contempt matters, the legal notice is of very, it is of extreme importance, because unless a party who has to make some compliance of the directions of the court has not been intimated properly that you have made this willful disobedience and non-compliance of the orders of the court, unless it is properly and officially submitted by way of a legal notice, the contempt petition cannot be entertained by the courts. Now, coming to the language of the legal notice. Now, coming to the drafting of the legal notice. So first and foremost, when a lawyer or when any party is drafting a legal notice, they have to be very precise and particular with the facts, because if the facts go wrong anywhere, then it may be treated as a faulty notice and may be read against the party himself or itself. So the language is very essential. The language should be very simple and not very complicated, because me being a legal practitioner, I receive many legal notices from my clients. They say that, sir, we have received a legal notice, and the language, it runs into 60 pages, 50 pages, and it is so complicated. So it is very essential that the language is not very complicated and very simple language is to be used for drafting legal notices, so that the addressee may understand very easily that what the party who has sent the legal notice is trying to convey and may act upon accordingly. So because if we draft a good legal notice in a simple language, there are more and more chances of arriving at a settlement in case of maybe a recovery of money or anything else of that nature. Because if the opposite party is aware that this person has narrated the facts properly, this is the issue, and they understand the issue, and you also cite some legal provisions, then they are also kind of bound to take some action, because otherwise it will lead to litigation. And mostly from my experience, I can say that the multinational corporations and big corporations are the first ones to give in to negotiation, because they prefer settling the issues instead of going for litigation and spending much more on the litigation costs. So another point is that legal notice should be very concise. It should not be long, as I just said, because if it runs into 70, 80 pages, mostly people do not read 80 pages of notices. It has to be 5, 7, 10 pages. And in 10 pages, they have to, you should be able to explain the entire issue along with the legal proposition and the demand. The demand is very essential, because if you make a clear demand from the addressee, only then can you expect some results. Because if it is vague, then it is just like drafting a petition. If the demand is vague, then you do not get anything. And you should always bullet the key points which are essential for the matter, so that the notice becomes more and more effective. Now, coming to the fact of replying legal notice, as Jay started the session with, the reply to legal notice is also a very essential thing. If you take legal notices lightly and you do not draft replies to them and you do not respond to them, in most of the cases, it will lead to a litigation. So you should always prefer to reply to legal notices, so that you can avoid litigation. And while drafting the reply, it is very essential that you give a point-to-point reply. You do not make a vague reply that point number 1 is denied, point number 2 is denied. It is not that. You should give a point-wise specific answer to all the allegations and facts that have been mentioned, and the points of law that have been mentioned, that how they are not applicable in the matter, or how the facts are twisted by the sender of the legal notice. So you should give a very exact answer. Now, coming to these are the key points relevant for drafting of legal notices. Then there is one more essential thing for young lawyers, especially, that many a time clients approach us for drafting legal notices, and then they give us verbal instructions that you go ahead and draft legal notice. So I think casually legal notices should not be sent in such manner. You should take an authorization in writing, maybe a wakalatnama, before sending a legal notice. Because otherwise the client, if he or she changes his mind that I do not want to serve legal notice, he may prosecute against you for sending a legal notice, and things may go get ugly. So actually you should always prefer and get a wakalatnama. Now, for your convenience, I'm sharing a draft. I'm sharing my screen for how to draft a legal notice. So I'll just, so that you get a format of a legal notice. There is no fixed format as such. However, it is preferred that it should be in a letter form. Now, I think my screen is visible now. Jay?
Yes, Mr. Rastogi, it's
Yes.
absolutely visible. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. So now this is a legal notice that I sent for recovery of money. So this client of mine had taken some plan from a holiday club, and on the promise that they do not need to pay the entire amount, they may pay a
Mr.
less.
Rastogi, if you could just increase the font size.
Yeah, all right, I'll do that. So is it okay now?
Yeah, much better. Thank you.
Yeah. So in this matter, this was my client approached me and said the club, they charged me money for giving me a short-term membership by making a shorter payment, not the entire payment of the membership charges. And they promised him that the membership will be handed over after payment of the entire money. But however, after the promised duration, also they continued deducting the money from the credit card of my client. So therefore, he approached me and said that this is the illegality that they are committing, and they are also not refunding the excess money, nor they are handing over the membership. So then this client approached me, and this is the format of a legal notice that I issued at that point. So firstly, the addresses have to be mentioned to so and so, and the subject is very essential. You need to mention very specifically that it is a legal notice before initiating legal proceedings against whosoever on behalf of the client. Now, details of the client are very essential, and it should be mentioned in the notice, in the subject itself. So the first sentence of the legal notice is under the instructions and on behalf of my client so and so. So this is a very key point to a legal notice, that you are drafting, and an advocate drafts a legal notice under the instructions of the client and on behalf of the client. So these words are very essential for drafting legal notice. I serve upon you this legal notice before initiating the proceedings are under. Now, the first part of the legal notice, the first few paragraphs, have to be the facts of the matter. So you begin with my client states that, because the advocate is not aware of the facts. He is only narrating the facts that the client has made him or her aware of. So my client states that due to so and so, and you begin with mentioning the points of the matter. Now in this matter, I submitted how he was offered the membership in for a shorter period by making a smaller amount of payment, and then there were two employees who asked this client that, all right, we'll talk with the management and we'll arrange for the shorter plan. So then they promised. So I have mentioned the facts. It is just for an example because it is not otherwise relevant. So yes. So now then I have mentioned that my client states he asked the two employees to show the availability of the plan. So I'm just bringing out the bona fides of the client, that he had made all efforts, that you bring out whatever, that he took due care, the client took due care that this plan was available and whatever. So this goes this way. And subsequently, yes, now they say that even after this fact, the payment was being deducted, and which is wrong, and no membership has been given. So now para 8 onwards, you see, this is about the legal position. Para 1 to 7 are the facts, and point 8 by 8 onwards, these are the legal positions. So I mentioned it that on account of above mentioned facts and circumstances, your willful malafide intent is critical here. So this is the language by the advocate which brings to the notice of the addressee that these are the wrongs that you've committed, these are the illegalities that you've committed, and you may be prosecuted against. And finally, this is the demand clause, the prayer clause, as you may say, where you call upon the addressee to do or undo something, and it is very essential. It is the key to the legal notice, because if you make an unreasonable demand, the legal notice mostly will not yield any results. So you need to be very reasonable, precise, yet very assertive. You cannot be threatening. You cannot use threatening language in a legal notice, but it has to be assertive. So then you give a reasonable time of 5 to 7 working days from the date of receipt of the notice, failing which the client will take proceedings under whatever laws applicable. So this is a legal notice, and this is the way a legal notice is drafted. So these are the basics of legal notice and the importance. So I think, Jay, I have concluded what I wanted to say in this session.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rastogi, for this presentation. To sum it all up, I think the viewers really need to understand one thing, that see, a client is a master of facts, but it is a legal practitioner who is a master of law. So both have to connect and both have to blend in, so that there is a possibility that the dispute may be settled or resolved even at the notice stage itself. So this is why drafting of a good legal notice is so important, to communicate what the client wants you to communicate through the shoes of a lawyer. So you've done that beautifully, Mr. Rastogi. I'm sure this will immensely benefit all our viewers. And the sample draft that Mr. Rastogi just shared, if you still want a copy, you can very well write to us, and we'll be more than happy to connect with Mr. Rastogi and get it for you, or you can directly communicate that to Mr. Rastogi, our speaker for the day. So thank you so much, Mr. Sarthak.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you. It was really nice having you over on a Friday afternoon. And a big thank you to all the viewers for listening and watching this patiently. And stay tuned. Next episode is on its way. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. And stay home, stay safe, stay indoors, venture out only if it's very essential. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Rastogi.
Thank you, Jay.